What up, everybody? There's a new Power Book 2 Go Season 4 clip from a starz promo video that has Noma telling Obi, "Do you think I want to be exposed?" But little does she know that the man she's talking to can no longer be trusted. This is no longer the same Obi that Noma could control when we were first introduced to them in the beginning of Season 3, whose loyalties were strictly to Noma, desperate to get his family their green cards in the States. And this is something that Noma would use to motivate Obi, who is Noma's number 2, to remain loyal to her and to make him the type of soldier that would run through a wall for her, with the hopes that one day Noma would use her connections to get his family to the States. But when Tariq came to Obi at the end of Season 3, needing Obi to stall Noma until the crew could pay what they owed, Tariq asked Obi if there's anything he could do for him to get him to stall Noma. And Obi let Tariq know that Noma was the only one with the power and the resources to get him what he wants. But Tariq convinced Obi that he could get his family their green cards, and successfully did that with the help of Councilman Tate, shifting Obi's loyalty from Noma to Tariq. But to give Obi all the more reasons to switch sides, on top of Tariq doing it in a few days, while Obi had been waiting on Noma to do for who knows how long, when Noma found out that Effie got arrested and Obi didn't report it back to her, she sliced his face. This was during a conversation with Monet Tejada, and during this conversation she mentioned that the situation with Mecca made her feel blind and vulnerable, again using that same word from the Season 4 teaser, as she told Monet that she can't tolerate deception in any form, and either though Obi had served Noma faithfully, she gave him a scar on his face as a reminder. And the look on Obi's face after she sliced him said it all. That not only is Obi done serving Noma faithfully, but when the time is right, Obi could go as far as seeking revenge against Noma, because he proved he was no longer faithful by giving Brayden the drop that Noma, Effie, and the Tejadas were planning on killing Tariq. So now Noma is more vulnerable than ever before because Tariq made it out of the warehouse alive after already threatening to target Noma's daughter, Anya. Now keep in mind that during Noma's conversation with Monet, that Noma said if she had children, she would keep them as far away from this world as possible. And Monet's reply was, "I tried that shit with Z, and he's the one who's dead." Could this potentially be a clue that Anya could end up like Zeke? In addition to keeping her children far away from the life, when Effie gave Tariq the info on Anya, she told Tariq that she doesn't even think that Anya knew what her mother really did for a living. Plus, in addition to the fact that Tariq could possibly be targeting Anya, the Tejadas also heard the whole thing go down with Tariq mentioning Anya to Noma. So now this is also a potential weakness that could be exposed by the Tejadas also. So Noma went from being almost untouchable when we were first introduced to her in Season 3 to now becoming vulnerable and exposed from every angle, and even angles that she's not even prepared for, with Obi switching sides. When Tariq mentioned the name Anya to Noma, bluffing and telling her that he has eyes on her, and if anything happened to him, that they would go after her. But just in case Tariq really had eyes on Anya, she moved her somewhere with protection. But because Anya doesn't know what her mother really does for a living, thinking that Noma is a legitimate businesswoman, she can't keep Anya hidden away forever. Currently, Anya is a student at NYC as well, so she also has class to tend to. So Tariq has many angles that he could attack concerning Anya to get the Tejadas and Noma off his back. And it doesn't necessarily have to be violent, either though it could always go that route. Keep in mind that Anya's father is Francesco Lombardi, the man that Noma and her hitters killed after Tariq and the crew went to retrieve a listening device from Lombardi's mansion that was planted there by Mecca. So a big question that remains unanswered going into Season 4 is what was on that listening device that was so important that Noma had Tariq, Brayden, and Effie risking their lives to retreat. Noma said Lombardi was her biggest competition in arms dealing, so it could be something related to that as well. But the fact that Noma killed Anya's father is something that Tariq could use against Noma to blackmail her and force her to take the bounty off of his head. Tariq has the ability to expose Noma to Anya in a similar way that Kanan exposed Ghost to Tariq. Tariq already did something similar with Mecca to stop him from killing him in Season 2 after getting his paperwork with his real name, Dante Spears, and getting the information from Davis that Spears was the GOAT of global snitching. And even though Tariq was bluffing, this wasn't something that Mecca was going to risk. But the problem for Noma is that she has eyes on her because she isn't the only one who wants Tariq dead. So do the Tejadas, especially Kane, after Diana lied and said that Tariq shot Monet. So if Noma takes the bounty off of Tariq's head, it's going to be looked at as a weakness from the Tejadas, giving them leverage to use against Noma in the future as well. In addition to the Tejadas, keep in mind whose idea it was to target Anya in the first place. It was Effie's. Because Effie doesn't want to be stuck under Noma in the life forever, she has an escape plan to get out the game by moving to California to go to school at Stanford. But Noma has already made the mistake of trusting Effie because of the information she gave her on Tariq and made Effie her understudy. And one of the exclusive Season 4 pictures has Kane and Effie looking in an office window as Noma was talking to Anya. So it looks like Noma owns an office building in New York City, making me ask the question, what is Noma's legitimate front? Because her ex-husband Lombardi was an oil tycoon. Also making me ask the question, is Noma connected to RSJ? Could RSJ be the face of Noma's legitimate side of the business? And could Noma serve as the financier for RSJ's business or something like that? But when Tariq went to Italy with RSJ, Noma and Obi just happened to show up in Italy at the same restaurant that Tariq and Effie were eating at. And I know that Obi had his men following them, but how would they find out the destination of a private jet? Obi's men would have only been able to follow them but so far, and they weren't at the hangar when the jet took off either. RSJ conveniently used this same private jet to get out the country to avoid talking to the Alphabet Boys about the Weston Ponzi scheme. But why would RSJ need to get out the country instead of clearing his name like Kiki did, being a victim of the Ponzi scheme, if he didn't have something to hide? Then keep in mind that Mecca's real name was Dante Spears, so is Noma simply an alias that she uses? Also keep it in mind that Noma's daughter's name is Anya Covington, but her baby father from the picture with the little girl in it that Effie got at the mansion, his last name is Lombardi. So Anya could have potentially taken on the last name of her mother, but there's also the possibility that Noma has more than one child. Because when she replied to Monet, she told her if I had children, I would keep them as far away from this life as possible. Notice she didn't say if I had a child. So there's a chance that Lombardi isn't Anya's father and the girl in the picture is actually somebody else. So with that said, I haven't ruled out the possibility that Effie could still be Noma's daughter with Lombardi, most likely a long-lost daughter who Noma or Lombardi haven't seen since she was just a child. The mother that Effie has talked about could just be a foster mother, and the brother that she's mentioned could have been a made-up story so she could get close to Tariq after his sister was killed. So with that said, could that be why Noma had the listening device in Lombardi's mansion trying to get the info about where her daughter was? And if in fact Anya Covington isn't Noma's daughter that she had with Lombardi, then we got to ask the question, who is Anya Covington's father? And could this potentially be the RSJ-Noma connection, that RSJ is actually Anya's father? Also concerning Noma and RSJ, keep in mind that Blanca, Brayden, and Tate were introduced in Power Season 5 and have all played key roles in Book 2. So with that said, Noma and RSJ could potentially have key roles in the next Power spinoff. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.